Hi everyone, I am back today with another flip-flop journal. If you watched my last video, that was my design team project for the Graphics Fairy, and in that video I showed you how I put the base together, and this is what I created from that base. Now I have had questions about how I've added my signatures and so on, so I am going to do a separate video that shows how I put my base together and how and where I added all the pages throughout. So I just want to give a shout out to 507 Willow House Journals. Of course, she is the inspiration for these flip-flop journals. So I want to thank her for that and encourage you to run over to her channel to check out her work. And Jenofeve Designs as well. Jenofeve did some videos on a flip-flop journal as well, so I want to give a shout out to her. Throughout this journal I have used images from the Graphics Fairy, from Poole, from Ruby and Pearl, Jenofeve Designs. She has a kit for flip-flop journals in her Etsy shop, so you should run over there and take a look if you're interested in making one of these. Taylormade Journals, Florence and Vintage. I have some really pretty tags in here from that shop, as well as Amity Bloom. So I will list in the description box below the shops that I've just mentioned, just so that they're there for your easy reference. Now this journal is spoken for, although if she sees this flip through and is not interested, then I will put this in my Etsy shop, but it's possible that this is already spoken for. So let me walk you through this journal. So it is just made out of 4 envelopes, 3 large ones and 1 small one. I've got a twine closure here. And I just love how chunky these get. Just gotta love the side view of these. So this is the front envelope. I've just clipped it together with a rusted bulldog clip. And I've got this really pretty Paris postcard on the front with a little rusted paper clip there, and some vintage papers behind. And then I've used some of my aged tape that I made. I've had a few questions about how I made that. If you go to Ephemera's Vintage Garden, her channel, it's from a couple of years ago. She showed us how to do this, and she was, I know there's a few people that have different videos on it, but she was, as far as I saw, the first person to do this, and it's just brilliant. It's so easy, but I encourage you to go and have a look at her channel. So inside, so this is the small envelope that I've got on top, and inside I've just got a little notepad here, some vintage paper here, and then for the envelope I've completely opened it up so that I have some pockets here, and I have pretty floral tag, little frame that I've got some gold rub-and buff on, and then a little label here with my favorite note stamp on it. On the other side, I have one of those pretty tags I mentioned to you at the beginning from Florence and Vintage on Etsy. I had lots of sari ribbon throughout. One of my favorite roses I've got on this die cut, and just added my note stamp. And then from the Graphics Fairy, I did this with my last one. I just cut out this floral vase for some extra journaling space. And throughout, I've really kind of mixed authentic vintage as well as printables. So this is an authentic vintage page that I've used here. This is from the Graphics Fairy. And some Poole stamps, a pretty tab here with some floral trim and some aged tape. This is from the Graphics Fairy, printed full size, and then space for journaling on the back. And here I have just added some papers to the side for some extra journaling space there. Some really pretty paper from Ruby and Pearl. I just love this. This would make a fabulous journal cover. Envelope from Jenofeve Designs, and just an insert here from the Graphics Fairy. Some pretty sari ribbon there. And on this side, I have added a little chair with some flowers. I've printed that on, I don't know if you can tell, I've printed that on glossy photo paper so that it looks like an actual photograph. That's from Ruby and Pearl. And then I've just made this tag. A little bit of trim and some sari ribbon and room to journal on the back. Here is the second envelope that is left closed. And here I have added a little pocket. This is actually from, I didn't mention at the beginning, Luna Rozu. So I'll add her shop to the list below. She had some button cards and I thought this went really well with the colors in the journal. I've got here a vintage, authentic vintage letter from 1885. So that's in there. And then I've got an envelope here with nothing in it, a pretty peony Polaroid, and then a bag that I've made. This is an image from Sam Poole, her beautiful images and one of her stamps, and then I've just added a plain tag with just a fancy topper on it. In the envelope here, this is a printable from the Graphics Fairy, just a printable French letter there. And then I've just added a little bit of fun papers to the side there. Here I've got a pocket, another pretty tag. This is from Shabby Art Boutique, pretty button card, and then another full-size printable from the Graphics Fairy, where I've got some space for journaling on the back. Some authentic vintage papers. This is Ruby and Pearl. I've fussy cut out a floral image from the Graphics Fairy here and added it to some of the paper from Taylormade Journals. And then I just made this tag, and this is an image from the Graphics Fairy. I believe it's from the Florist collection on the premium website. Another pretty tab here, lots of trim throughout. Another of those really pretty tags from Florence and Vintage. And then I've just clipped it to this envelope, and this is an envelope in the kit that Jenofeve Designs put out for flip-flop journals. And in it, I've just added a few journaling spots here. One that I've made from a die cut and my favorite stamp, and then just a couple of other printables here. Great to add some little notes on. More sari trim here, and then that's just a fold out. And here I've made a pocket and another little tag, another journaling card. I believe this is from Amity Bloom, and then this is from Amity Bloom, her most recent collection. Just an envelope that I haven't put anything in at this point, but just a great spot to add pictures or some notes that you want. Here I've got a top tuck, and I've got a few things in here. So a little button card from Luna Rozu, from that button card collection she has, and I've just added some buttons here. This is journaling card. This is from one of the kits from the Graphics Fairy. Just a smaller version of the larger journaling page that I had earlier on from the Graphics Fairy. And then this is a very pale green envelope from that Jenofeve Designs kit. And I've just clipped it all in at the back here. This is a bag. This is an image from Amity Bloom, and then I've taken the other side of that image and created a journaling card with a tab. This is from the Graphics Fairy freebie site. They have a little tutorial on how to use these as well, but I've just added some doily here that I usually do, and just added a little button to the side and space for notes at the back. This is from Ruby and Pearl. And then here I've clipped another of the floral photos that I showed earlier. And then this is from Amity Bloom as well. Just a great place to add a photo or make some notes. So that's just clipped here. And then this is an envelope that I've clipped to the top. That's from Chapter 1 Papers. Another one that I haven't mentioned that I'll remember to add to the bottom of my list. Some real vintage paper here. Here I've got some pockets. Another image from the Graphics Fairy. This is a letter that I've just folded. So a little bit of space, extra space for journaling there. Another image from the florist from the Graphics Fairy that I put on this bag. And then I've just got an embossed tag inside. Another tab there. And then here I've clipped a pocket. So this pocket is from Jenofeve Designs, and I've just added a tab at the top and some trim here and some vintage paper and some tape at the bottom. And then I've just inserted a little tag from the Graphics Fairy. That's from the Graphics Fairy as well. And then another of those really pretty floral tags from Florence and Vintage there. And that just gets clipped onto this postcard, and that was from Poole Designs. So I've just folded it over to clip it on there. This is the other side of that bag that I showed. This is another image from Amity Bloom. And then I have stamped my Tiffany & Company stamp on that die cut. Here I've just made a simple pocket. Another large image from the Graphics Fairy that I've added my note stamp to, so some extra journaling space there. And you flip it to the back, and I've just collaged a few papers here and added another vase of flowers here. Another large journal page for notes here. Just inserted, again, that's Graphics Fairy. In this bag, I've just added a little bit of sari trim, another of those envelope journaling spots from Amity Bloom there. Here is another of the vintage flower photos that I've been using throughout, and this is an Amity Bloom envelope. So lots of places to keep things, to add pictures, to add kind of little secret journaling spots if you want. Here is a little tag from the Luna Rozu button card collection. This is from Amity Bloom. It's one of the pages that I've significantly downsized just for a longer journaling card. And then this is from the Graphics Fairy. Another tab here. I printed this on vellum. I love to do that throughout my journals. A couple of different vellum spots just to add some interest. More sari ribbon here. I've added another of the tabs from the Graphics Fairy, and here is just some tissue paper that I have ruffled. And another tab that I've added some trim to. Here's a bag, and in the bag I have another envelope that I've just added in to flap over a Graphics Fairy image there. Behind it I have a bag, and I made this bag from that paper that I showed at the beginning, that green paper from Ruby and Pearl. I printed it on vellum and made the bag, and then just added a plain tag with a pretty tab at the top and my note stamp. Here I've got some paper just for some extra journaling space. Here is a square doily that I have folded into an envelope, added a little bit of trim, and then just added one of those pretty Florence and Vintage tags. This is from Amity Bloom. It's from the side of one of her pages, and I've just added my note stamp. And then this is from the Graphics Fairy as well. I've added in one of the tall, thin pages. I think this collection was from Ruby and Pearl, and I thought the color went really well. You may recall in my Graphics Fairy design team, I added ledger paper in that, but I have just decided that I would add in a few different pages here. And this bag I made from some baking paper, actually. And inside I have just a plain journaling card, again from the Graphics Fairy, I believe. And then I've just clipped on this from the Graphics Fairy and another of the peony photos as well. Another tab here that I've created. In the middle, again, this is the Taylormade Journals paper that I printed on the back, and then this is from the Graphics Fairy. And here I've got a few different things. This is from Amity Bloom, and it's just some extra journaling space. It's one side of a double-sided paper that she had. This is also from Amity Bloom. And then this is from Jenofeve Designs, from that collection she put out. It's an envelope, so I just folded it. You could, because it's open at both sides, you could sew this into the center of a signature or into a signature and have it open up both sides for a little pocket, but I chose just to do that. Here is another of the Florence and Vintage tags. And then this is Amity Bloom, a journaling card. I've added a tab at the top and just have some space on the back. The other side of the bag, and I've added this. This is actually part of an envelope from Amity Bloom, but I've cut it for a journaling card and added a tab. And then just added some pretty trim to that bag. This is a printable from Ruby and Pearl, one of her wallpapers that I've just used full sheet just for some extra journaling space on the back. And this is a real vintage page as well that I've added in. And then this last pocket, I've made a tag from Poole Designs image here with some of that baking paper, and then an embossed tag at the back. And then this is from Ruby and Pearl, and I've added one of my tabs with some tissue paper, that's it, and some trim on the back. So this is my latest flip-flop journal. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I mentioned at the beginning, it is possibly spoken for. She will let me know once she sees this flip through if it's something she's interested in. And if she decides to pass on it, then this will be in my Etsy shop, and I will post that on my Instagram channel. So thanks for joining me today. I will be back hoping this weekend with a little kind of short how to put together one of these. There are lots of videos out there on it, but honestly, I found them very confusing, and I kind of, from watching them all, I've sorted out in my mind how I need to do it. So I thought I would share that and also show you where and how to put those pages in as well. So thanks everyone for joining me, and I will see you soon.